Welcome to this Matchmaking and Ideation session for the Nutrition Innovation Challenge Fund. We're very happy to have you here. The objective today is to exchange more about the fund and the potential innovations that could be proposed to the fund, and to allow some participants to make connections amongst one another, to find potential best types of collaboration under which you could submit your innovation to the fund. We will be running through a couple of activities this morning. We'll first hear a refresher on the Nutrition Innovation Challenge Fund from Immaculate. And all of the information we're sharing today is on our website. You will see the link in a second in the chat box. We are always updating it to make sure all of the information we share today and we've been sharing in the past is available to all potential applicants and participants. We will then have some breakout groups during which we will try to emulate a networking activity, but doing it digitally. Then we will have a moment to talk a little bit more about the 3 challenge statements, the focus areas for this call. After which we'll have a short mapping exercise to understand who wants to work where, how. And we will remind you what resources are available to you as you're preparing your concepts. And finally, talk you through the next steps for the Nutrition Innovation Challenge Fund. So you are welcome to this session. We are recording and we will share all the resources on the website. The only thing that will not be recorded are the breakout groups. That's not a functionality we can have with Zoom. So feel free to be, really forthcoming in chatting informally. This is not something that will appear then publicly. Don't worry about that. Thanks a lot for being with us, and I'll hand over to Immaculate to take us through the refresher of the Innovation Challenge Fund.
Hi everyone, you're very welcome for this matchmaking session. We welcome you very much and we honor the fact that you accepted to be part of this meeting. I'll give a small refresher. Apologies to those who have been with us several times and this could seem like a repetition, but for those that are joining in for the first time, we would want to introduce more about the Local Innovations for Nutrition Solutions project. It's a 2 years project running from 2021 to 2022, and it's funded by Innovation Norway and implemented by the Response Innovation Lab in collaboration with Save the Children International. Our objective is to find and test innovative solutions to sustainably reduce chronic malnutrition in refugee hosting communities. And our focus is mainly looking at local and market-driven innovations that could be of use in increasing food access, availability, affordability, and utilization. And if we are to look closely at this, we know that these are the dimensions of food security. And then the future pilot locations, that's in 2022, will be in Chaka 2 and Rhino Camp refugee settlements. From that map, you will see that Rhino Camp is in Arua and Chaka is in Chegega district of Uganda. We will target vulnerable refugee households and also Ugandan households that are surrounding them with children 6 to 24 months. To talk more about one of the key elements of the Local Innovations for Nutrition Solutions project is the Nutrition Innovation Challenge Fund, which we launched already. And it's the call for applications is already open. We are expecting short expressions of interest, like we will see in time to come. But the overview of this fund is that we are looking out for solutions still that are sustainable and can contribute to reduction of chronic malnutrition. Our main focus is on the window of opportunity, or you can call it the first 1,000 days of life, that's between conception and the second birthday of that baby. Why we look closely at this is because effects of chronic malnutrition within this period are mostly irreversible and they last a lifetime. So we'll be funding up to a total of 5 pilots. So it will be between 1 to 5, and the total envelope we have is 200,000 US dollars, with a minimum envelope being 20,000 and the maximum being 200,000 for a single pilot. Still, implementation will be in Chaka and Rhino Camp, and these will be supported, the successful innovations will be supported with funding, of course, coupled with innovation management and acceleration, impact measurement and learning, and of course, technical guidance here and there. Yes. Of course, we cannot rule out the fact that you will have Save the Children on ground, presence of Save the Children in these locations of Chaka and Rhino, major reason as to why we even chose to pilot in these settlements. Yeah, so the solutions we are looking for must be actually sustainable. And in this sense, we mean that they should be able to thrive even after the funding period is done. They should go past the implementation of the pilot and should be able to scale up even without the funding. Then we are looking out for those with satisfactory proof of concept. They should have been ideas that have been tested and they prove that they will work. They should be obviously innovative. Locally rooted. By locally rooted, I mean that they should be able to use the resources available in the different locations, and they should be accepted by the natives of the land. They should be feasible to be implemented by the target populations that we are looking at. Collaborations are very much recommended, and the solutions must be market driven, preferably. We have 3 challenge statements that we narrowed down to after a series of research, including a desk review that was completed. All this is on our website that's already posted in the chat, but we narrowed down to these 3. One challenge statement is, how might we be able to enhance positive behavior change and lead to increased uptake of good care practices during the first 1,000 days of life? We would be looking out for solutions that could be addressing maybe one of these challenges. The second challenge statement is, how might we make it easier and more affordable for families to increase their frequency, diversity, and nutrition quality of meals for the children under 2 years? And the last challenge statement is, how might we optimize and stabilize household access to diversified, well-preserved, and nutrient-rich food for vulnerable households, still with children below 2 years? We will dive more into each of the challenge statements. Yeah, so we are looking out for sustainable innovations that we are marking these few aspects. They should be able to clearly incorporate measures of success, reasonable for the time span of the award. So depending on the month that will be awarded to the pilot, we should be really sure that this will show some success and it should be documented. Then they should be focusing on at least one challenge statement, or even better, they can incorporate more than one area of focus, like sets of interventions, targets, and combinations of nutritional outcomes. The innovations should also be able to explain how the proposed solutions and interventions will eventually be tested in the communities, so that they can have the highest likelihood of being scaled up and being implemented broadly by the country's systems. And they should also be able to use partnerships, localizations, and market forces to ensure sustainability, knowing that the prevention of malnutrition is a multi-sectoral approach. Yeah. And then, although these are very important considerations, we are not necessarily looking out for solutions that will improve land access and productivity as the primary objectives. So this could be a secondary objective, and we're also not looking out for solutions focusing mainly on raising household income and access to financial services. Though we really acknowledge that these are important, but with the award we have, it may not be sustainable to support these. Yeah. Thank you. Next slide, Shadi.
Thank you, Immaculate. So moving forward, we want to propose that we do a short networking exercise. So basically, we're trying to recreate an experience of, people connecting and chatting about their ideas. So we're going to send you in breakout groups with another few people. So in each group, there will be 3 to 4 people. And we give you about 12 minutes in those small groups to chat to one another. And we are proposing those questions as guidelines as to what to cover during this session. So first of all, of course, please introduce yourself, who you are, what your organization is doing. Then maybe just as a fun fact, since nutrition is what is bringing us together today, maybe share what is the last thing you ate today, just as a little bit of an icebreaker. Third question, what is your interest in this Nutrition Innovation Challenge Fund? Are you looking for a solution around challenge 1, challenge 3? What's your experience working on this topic so far? And then finally, are you still looking for partners to work together for an application? And most of you are, this is why you are here today. So we hope you can meet some of the participants and find interesting organizations in the mix here. And if your dream partner is not here, do not despair, there are more, and we will also help you try and find more potential partners. So we are going to do this for about 12 minutes. You'll have about 12 minutes to chat to one another in the breakout group, and I'm going to have to time this so we don't overrun too much. After that, we will mix the participants up a little bit, and we will send you in a new group to do the same exercise with another group of people. Depending on how long this takes, then we will even do it a third time. So at the end of this digital networking, you will have had the chance to chat to about 9 other people from that call at the minimum. So hang in there. We're going to send you in the breakout rooms shortly. And you should know that those are not recorded because that's not a functionality on Zoom. So we are saying this in case you're worried about sharing information about your innovation, or you're worried about this slightly informal chat being shared publicly afterwards. Don't worry, it won't be the case. And also, we apologize for people who couldn't join today, but of course, if they can't join, they can't benefit from this networking activity. So we will send you to your breakout groups now, and we will then shift you around again in about 12 minutes. Thanks, everyone. I hope everything is clear. If it's not, please raise your comments before we send you in your breakout group.
information, and the kind of information. There is a lot of misinformation or disinformation about nutrition in the different areas. We at #OurStories, we can help dispel myths and misinformation about the different nutritional behaviors through creating videos, sharing these videos, and distributing these videos among the different social media channels. Now, social media is the most immersive platforms where many people are engaged and have access to. It is the main source for information. I think we can work with partners on creating positive change in this aspect and enhancing like health behavior and different kinds of activities where we can also like train people how to tell their stories, how to tell these challenges from their own perspectives, and then create lenses, create quizzes, create games that work around like advocating for or like raising awareness for better practices of behavior and of health and nutrition. So this is like one area we can support with.
Thank you for sharing, Ms. Rin. I saw participant 5 raise their hand. Participant 5, please go ahead. I think participant 5 dropped off. Sorry about that. So do we have anyone else who wants to share some of their experiences of seeing the lack of good practices in action, or some of the work they've observed that is working well but could be improved? Florence, please go ahead.
Florence, once again, sorry, my network is a bit unstable, but I'll go ahead and way that we can improve behavior change or enhance positive behavior change is to plan with the people whose behavior you want changed. So we call that implementation research. This is where you innovate with the people, with the community that you want to improve. For example, if you want mothers to learn how to feed children, then you go down to the community, let's say in Changwali, you go down to the community, there are some local foods there, and you work with the mother towards a solution. For example, we worked with mothers in Luka district to improve health outcomes, okay, to prevent malnutrition and to correct any malnutrition that was among the community within the first 1,000 days critical window of opportunity. And we went into the community before we did the research. We went to the community. We got to learn about the food that is available. We found the structures in the community. We worked with the structures in there and came up with a food product that we learned that mothers and children don't eat enough food. And then when they eat, the frequency is not good. So we worked with them and made a product from their local foods. This product is a flour. So the mothers can use it either as a soup or a porridge, where most of them prefer to use it as a porridge. So we worked with them and they did sensory evaluation on the product, and they chose one particular product. We went back to the lab, we refined it, and we have done food safety tests on it. We have microbial results. We have tested aflatoxins on it, and then we have also so with the community in Luka, we did a proof of concept stage. So that stage, we learned a lot from it, and at the end of the study, the children that were underweight, actually they improved, their health outcomes improved, and the mothers also, those that were pregnant and those that were lactating, their feeding behaviors improved, and those that didn't have enough milk could produce enough milk. Well, we did a lot of nutrition education and health education. We integrated the intervention into the existing health system, so the care behaviors. And so we were able to come up with behavior change interventions that, indicators that were improved. So in brief, you plan with the community, involve them at every stage of the project, and then you also plan with them to evaluate it with them. And at the end, the two of you benefit from the intervention. Thank you.
Great, thanks for sharing, Florence. And also you're making my job easy because you offered me a transition to the next challenge statement that we can have a look at. Because as you just put very well, a lot of the innovations may address several challenge statements at the same time. And this is because there are so many factors that interrelate. And this is also why we're so happy to have different expertise around the table, because we think you may be able to complement each other. So the second challenge statement for this fund is, how might we make it easier and more affordable for families to increase the frequency, the diversity, and the nutritional quality of meals for children under 2 years? And again, there is a challenge map on the website that you can refer to. And there is also a full desk review with a lot of background information that we recommend you have a read of when you're preparing your concepts, because this is a field that is extremely active, and we are looking for things that are different, but also for things that are building on a sound understanding of what has already been done in this context, especially this specific refugee hosting context. So this second challenge, it's really focused on that question of making those nutrient-dense meals, how to get there. And it's based on a range of drivers that people are seeing these difficulties to provide the right types of food in their families. So for instance, one of the drivers of this situation is the fact that the families rely a lot on homegrown foods, and those foods are quite not diverse and often not very high in nutritional content. Then if you look at the market around the refugee settlement, there is sparse availability of dense, nutrient-dense foods or complementary foods, breast milk substitutes, etc. And also there is a whole challenge in terms of the time that needs to be invested in preparing meals, the frequency of meals. Very often it turns out that there is one meal per day, even though children would, at a young age, would benefit more from having several smaller meals. So if anyone else would like to share some thoughts around that topic of the types of foods and what is possible in terms of making it easier and more affordable to increase frequency, diversity, and quality of meals, we can have also a few minutes to hear some contributions. If you would like to share, you can raise your hand. All right, I don't see a hand, so I'll just move on to the third challenge area. So that third challenge area, how might we optimize and stabilize household access to diversified foods for households with children below 2 years? And for this side of the problem, and you can see it's very related to the previous one as well, of course, but here we're looking at one specific side of the problem, which is the food waste, food losses, and the question of accesses to food. There are a lot of challenges post-production in the refugee settlement. Of course, already you are aware that the quantities of food grown within households is not very high. But even that food that is grown on the market, it is facing a lot of challenges before it reaches the people who are going to be able to consume it. There are very poor post-harvest handling practices. The markets are far from the places foods are grown. And once the food arrives there, it has often lost already a lot of its nutritional qualities. And sometimes it's even not fit for consumption anymore. It may have been so damaged during transportation. Similarly, once it's bought by households or once it's harvested by households, there are very few means of conserving it in a proper way at the household level and ensuring the nutritional quality remains. So there are a lot of logistical challenges around that question of ensuring the access to those highly nutritious foods remain. And we can also hear some ideas or some testimonies around that challenge area, if anyone wants to share. Diana, I see you writing in the chat. Would you like to share something, Diana? Okay, it's another question from Diana, whether we can apply in both locations. Yes, that is possible. Any remarks on this challenge statement or testimonies to share? Yes, Florence, please go ahead.
Thank you so much. I think we can do this challenge addresses value addition, and if there are people on the call that are specializing in value addition, this is a good way to engage the community to take up those skills. And again, we can partner with people that specialize in value addition, or that specialize in agro food processing and use of like traditional or green methods, green ways of, or green technology to process food and preserve what would have otherwise gone to waste into usable food in times of scarcity. Thank you.
Great, thank you for sharing, Florence. Sounds very good. And we have now a contribution from Sylvia, please. We can't hear you very well. Can you speak very, very close to your mic?
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so I want to talk about.
Oh, Sylvia, you're muted.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so I want to talk something about value addition, like Florence touched. In our project, we aim to use the products which are already available in the area, that's Northern Uganda, Apache district. And this product is sweet potatoes. So we looked on how we can add more value on the sweet potato. Because most people around our target area in Apache district, they grow sweet potatoes. However, they always make surplus, and it's like it's not used the way it's supposed to be used completely. So we sat down as a team and we thought about what can we do, what else can we do with the sweet potato that is always in surplus. It's grown every year in surplus and it's wasted. So that's why we decided to come up with an idea of making bakery products out of the sweet potatoes with a little percentage of wheat flour. And also we intend to make other products out of it, like juice made out of sweet potatoes and porridge flour. Yeah, so by doing so, we hope that we're going to be adding more value to this product. And also we plan to sensitize the people around the place on how to adopt the post-harvest methods of preserving the sweet potatoes so that they don't get spoiled. That's all I wanted to share. Thank you.
Sylvia, you've given me an appetite. Thank you for sharing. Great. Thanks, everyone. Let's move on to the next part of our session. Before we go ahead, are there any burning questions on your mind? And of course, we will share the reminder of the next steps for the fund in a moment. But any other burning questions in relation to the challenge statements and the different innovation. Yeah, Martin, please go ahead.
Thank you so much. My question goes to whether we are supposed to capture the entire 3 challenge statements in the innovation, or we can focus on 1 or even 2.
Thank you, Martin. There is no obligation to capture more than 1 challenge. So it can be just 1, it can be 2, it can be 3, depending on your expertise and the collaboration that is going to apply. All combinations are acceptable. Yes, George.
Hi, Charlene. Thanks for the presentation. I just wanted to ask, so certainly my organization, we'd be interested in using this as a platform to form new partnerships. Would that be an opportunity for, once we've submitted a concept note, then being able to get connected to other people who would be interested in partnering on a more like holistic solution?
Absolutely. So we've already shared a little bit around the table, who does what, and after this session, we will make sure everyone finds a way to stay in touch with one another. But also, this is only the first step. So even after expression of interests are received, what we intend to do is let people know who else is preparing a full application so that they can decide to join forces. So yes, we will be supporting this process moving forward. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you.
Mike.
Yes, good morning, everyone. I have a question in regard to the funding, because you mentioned earlier that like the 200,000 is like the whole funding that you have. So you might work with 5. So if I look at my idea, there's quite a big difference whether I aim at that 200,000 or I aim at it divided by 5. So I don't know what you can recommend in that regard.
Yeah, indeed. So basically, the fund has some flexibility that it will be between 1 and 5 awards, depending on the solutions that are presented in the competition. So I cannot tell you that you have more chances to win if you apply for a small pot or for the whole pot, because it really depends on on how well the innovation is meeting the criteria. So if the $200,000 budget innovation application is like meeting all the criteria, covering both locations, and proving that it's cost effective, sustainable, then if it's really over much higher quality than all the others, this one will win. But if we see smaller things that meet all of the criteria, then we will have several pilots. But for sure, if you're going to apply for the whole 200,000, you need to make sure you're able to cover 2 locations, because we will need to cover the 2 locations. Thank you, Michael.
Okay, thank you.
Great. We'll take a question from Ronnie, and then we'll continue. And you can continue sending us questions at links@responseinnovationlab.com in case we haven't answered yours today. Thanks. Ronnie, over to you.
Okay, Sharon, that's good. I have one question. For example, on the same, for example, somebody when he's applying, he can apply minimum is $20, and then maximum is $200. So if and this takes 2 years, a 2-year project, isn't it?
No, it will be until the end of 2022, maybe extended a little bit into 2023.
Yeah, so it's probably 1 year.
Yes.
Okay.
Between 9 months and 1 year. Yeah.
Okay. So I was in that if somebody is to make his budget, and his budget is maybe, let me say, maybe 40,000 US. can he go ahead to put even his particular month? He assumes this is what to take by the budget instead of taking the whole sum of the period which the project covers. Can somebody just budget in maybe can say maybe within what activities I'm planning, maybe I can take 8 months, something like that, 9 months.
I can take that, Ronnie. Yes, you can make your budget as you deem it fit, but putting into consideration the project timelines that we have 2022 left to implement. So you could make your budget saying maybe it's 20,000 because that's the smallest amount we are allowing. And then, yes, of course, you state your timeline that you will be able to implement the pilot in. Yeah, that's totally acceptable.
Great, thank you for the questions. And we will summarize all these answers and they will be added to the frequently asked questions document, which is on our website. And this takes us to the next question. Okay, Nisreen, I'll just answer your question briefly. If there is also no obligation to apply in partnership with other organizations. So single applicants are also welcome. And in case you are looking for a partner, but it's maybe not one that you are meeting today, you are still also free to look out for other potential partners. And we're going to share some resources about that.
Okay, we are going to go in for a small, exciting exercise just to get a snapshot in what mainly everyone on this call is more interested in. I know we've already shared a bit of this in our breakout rooms, but this is going to give us a clearer picture, and we will be able to classify according to challenges, people's interests. So Charlene is posting a link to a Jamboard in the chat. Yeah, it's already there. So you will click on the link, which will just take you to that Jamboard, and we'll conduct a small exercise. Can we click onto it, please? Okay. So you'll just add a sticky note to your area of interest. If you're interested in creating an innovation around the first challenge statement, you would just post a sticky note. And if you're interested in challenge 2, which is nutritious meals, still you would post a sticky note. And then challenge 3, still you just post one there. In case you are not sure of how to post a sticky note,
you can see on the right hand side, there is a menu and there is a small square. When you click there, it creates an option to write. So can you see on the left hand side of the screen, there is a menu with a pen, an arrow, etc. The sticky notes function is the fourth from the top, this square with little text on it. So, you can just click here on the left-hand side on the sticky note tool and then start putting it where it fits. So for instance, we've put some dummy sticky notes here. Can everyone access? Is it working for everyone? And then we can take just some few minutes to let everyone do this.
Yes, I'm seeing someone has already posted. Macquarie University School of Public Health. So you post just with your organization name, where you would want to majorly focus. Design with borders, yes. We have 20 participants in the room. So we would expect about 18 or 19 sticky notes.
Can we stick twice? Because sometimes the idea cross cuts. I know someone asked that earlier.
Yeah, sure, Florence, you can.
Thank you.
Thank you. People are taking up these. I'm seeing someone in the chat. We will answer your question shortly. That's participant 5. More sticky notes, design photos. Okay. I'm seeing we still have about only 6. In case you're getting technical issues, please let us know. Challenge 1 seems to have a lot of interest.
Okay, participant 1, we can help you put your sticker. Ronnie, if you are not managing, yeah, tell us where you want us to put Muflan.
Rennie, where would you want to focus your interest mainly? So 1 and 2 for Mufan. Okay. We have some minutes to go.
So we can see that some people are filling the wrong word, but that's okay. We'll just synthesize for you afterwards. So as you can see from the screen, some people put their sticky notes on board 1, and then some put their sticky note on board 2. That's okay. We'll just merge for you in a moment. But so if you can go now to the top of the screen and make sure you move on to slide 3. The very last one. So we switch to doing the location instead of the challenge area, but you can still continue putting your sticky note on the challenge area if you have not finished yet.
Okay. Thank you for participating in this. I'm seeing a lot of partners. We are going to reorganize this and we will share.
And now if you can move to the 3rd board, we are asking you to identify in which location you would like to be implementing, whether it's only Chaka, only Rhino, or both locations. And there is no obligation to cover both locations, but remember that in the end, the fund will cover both locations. So we will either fund one pilot for Chaka, one for Rhino, or some for Chaka, some specific to Rhino, or some pilots that cover both locations. So there would be a combination here.
Okay.
All right, if you're having more issues putting your sticky notes on the location board, please let us know and we can help you.
The entrepreneurs Chaka. Okay.
And please note, those Jamboards are still open for a few more hours. So if you have issues posting right now, just take until the end of the day to get back to it. We will only close them a bit later, so don't hesitate. I think we need to move on with to the rest of the program. So yeah, please continue adding your elements as you come up with them. But otherwise, we will take you back to the last bit of this information session. So for a moment now, we would like to tell you about the resources and the support we're making available to you while you're developing your concepts. So of course, the fact that you're here is showing that you already had some insights into what is being done to support you, including this matchmaking session. We will be sharing the full call guidelines by the end of the week, hopefully. Sorry for the little delay here, but the questions we have been receiving from you are also helping us making sure you have all the right information there, and there will also be no surprises compared to what you've been hearing so far. Please also really make sure you're reading the research that we've prepared for you on the nutrition challenges. There is a desk review available on our website, as well as challenge maps, the one you've seen today. We're also going to continue trying to connect you with partners, which means the resources from today will be made available. There will be a nutrition innovation ecosystem mapping report published on the website very shortly. And also, there are many other fish in the sea. So if you haven't found the partner you want to work with today, please visit our interactive innovation ecosystem map, where you can find out about a lot more nutrition innovation potential partners in Uganda. Finally, once we have more information, we will be sharing with potential applicants a list that allows people to know of potential partners to work with. We are also trying to keep very open communication channels with you. So some of you have already signed up for an individual consultation with the LINS team. And if you haven't yet, it's limited we have only limited spots, so do so at your earliest convenience. Any questions that are discussed in those group sessions or that will be discussed in individual consultation will be summarized into the frequently asked document, which is also accessible on the website. Please trust us not to disclose any proprietary information about your innovation that may cause you to lose some competitivity in your application. I'm going to take you to the web page in a moment to highlight where you can find all these resources. But you will be able to recognize them. This is the desk review report. Those are our challenge maps. This is the upcoming ecosystem report. And this is our interactive ecosystem map. So if I take you for a moment to the, interactive ecosystem map. This is a publicly available resource that exists across topics for humanitarian innovation in Uganda. It's a tool that we are putting to stakeholders to support them in finding interesting partners. And in your particular case here, you may want to look specifically for nutrition or maybe food security actors. So you can use the filter function at the top here and click nutrition, or you can see there is also a food security option, or if you're looking for social media companies with whom to work. So you can try out the different filters to look for partners. And if I start filtering by a theme, you will see it changes the numbers on the different bubbles here. And this is because now all the actors you will find under those bubbles have an area of focus on nutrition. So if I open the private sector bubble, for instance, and I want to look for startups, 13 startups have been registered here. You can find the name of the startup, the level at which it operates, whether it's national, it's an international company, or it's operating only in one region of Uganda. There is a short description of what they do and a link to their website or a Facebook page in some cases, so that you can learn more. In case you are interested in any of the actors that you can find in the interactive ecosystem map, you can just let us know at lins@responsinnovationlab.com, and we will try to introduce you to those actors, try to connect you. We don't have personal relationships with all of them though, so you might also want to knock at the door directly. Now, all of the resources, and including this interactive ecosystem map, can be accessed from our website. So if you go to the page that we've shared with you, you will be able to see the description of the challenges that we've already covered. If you click on this, you will see the challenge maps. If you click on this image on the right-hand side, you will access the full report of the desk review. And we really recommend everyone to have a look at this one, because it has a lot of critical information about what is already being done and what has been working and not working so well so far to improve chronic malnutrition in Uganda. We are also uploading the recording of the information sessions as we go, so they can be accessed by everyone, as well as the slides. And you can see here the list on the left-hand side has the different links and will be updated regularly. And for instance, if you click on the FAQ, the one that is really at the bottom, it will take you to this document where you can see we will weekly provide an update with new questions that have been answered, either questions we received by email or questions we receive in different meetings. And at the bottom again, we just summarize the resources to make it easy for you also to access them from there. So don't hesitate to visit the resources, and in case you're looking for something and not able to find it, do let us know. The final element that we want to show you today in terms of resources that will be made available is a list of people who are registered to be part of the activity of matchmaking today. This will, if there is no objection to this, people will be able to contact one another using a simple table we are going to make available to you, where you will be able to find the email contact of the person, whether or not they're still looking for a partner, so it will be easy for you to filter, the type of organization they represent, and the type of partner they're looking for. So using the filters at the top, you will be able, if you want to work with if you want to work with a civil society partner, you can filter out the research ones in the private sector and look for the NGO you want to work with, or the opposites. And there is also a brief description of what your different organizations are doing.
Thank you, Charlene. We'll dive into the call timelines. Just a reminder, I know we've already shared this, but we've divided this into phases. We have phase 1 and phase 2. And phase 1 mainly will be ended with the receiving of EOIs. So 29th November, this call was launched. For those that are new to this call, we launched it already, so please visit our website for more details. We also had information sessions from first to second, and up until now, we are still taking the matchmaking and ideation sessions. We will also have consultations individually, and please do not hesitate to reach out to us in case you need any help. We will close receiving of expressions of interest by 15th of December. This is a short exercise. You just have to send by email using our template that is available on the website, an expression of interest, and then we will invite you to submit full proposals. So by 17th December, we will invite those that will have sent in satisfactory expressions of interest, and this process will be closed by 23rd of January. Just a reminder, applications for the full proposals will be strictly by invitation, and we hope to have the selection process and concept finalization between Feb to March 2022. Maybe just to recap, all types of legally registered organizations or individuals are allowed to apply either as a single applicant or in partnership. And at least in case it's a partnership, at least one of the partners should be having a strong track record in Uganda. And of course, private sector partners are also encouraged to apply. Just to maybe zoom more into the next steps. 8th December, we already at it. We already having the matchmaking session. And in case you still need some support and you've not been maybe helped by the information that will be on the website, do not hesitate to reach out to us. And also please book individual consultations. We are heading more into this. That's why you see the red rectangle. We are into that now. We are heading there. So on 10th and 13th December, we will be having individual consultations. Do not hesitate to book one. Slots are limited because some people have already registered for them. And then we will close receiving of expressions of interest by 15th December. So I encourage all those interested applicants to have sent in their expressions of interest by mail. Yeah, thank you. So just to dive into the expressions of interest template, For those that have not taken a look at it, it's a very simple tool asking a few details about your organization and which innovation and where you would want to implement it. So you will give a brief overview of your company, or if you are an individual, you give us a brief overview of what you do, the location you intend to implement in your pilot, either Rhino or Chaka. We do not expect locations out of this. And then the area of focus, which challenge statement, like you've already seen, which challenge statements are you intending to provide solutions to? And this can be either one challenge or one or more, or all the three. Then a short description of your intended innovation, just in a maximum of 100 words. And then you should also be able to avail the focal person to contact with their details and emails, because this is what we will use to invite you for the full application. Yes, again, please be reminded to send your EOIs on links@responseinnovationlab.com while copying Uganda co-procurement@savethechildren.org by 15th of December. Thank you, and unless we have burning questions, we are happy to answer them. I don't know if there are any in the chat. Yes.
Thank you very much for participating, everyone. Okay, we'll take a question from someone whose name is me. Sorry that you're showing us my name, but please go ahead. And
Charlene, sorry for the identity theft, but my name is Brian. Just a quick question. There was information that some of us could apply to join the selection committee. What's the procedure like in case someone would be interested to join the selection committee in this challenge?
great, yeah. Thanks for asking. What was your name?
Brian.
Brian, if you can email our address, we will share we will take it into consideration. But basically, we are very open to this. We would like to, we would be checking, the qualification of the reviewers, checking that they have no conflict of interest. So we will just make sure that they can sign a disclaimer form that they have no interest in supporting a specific application over another. And then we will consider adding the person on the review committee. So if you're keen, please do get in touch with us. We would love to have you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Brian. I think someone also posted a question in the chat that we had not addressed. Trying to find it. Yeah, there was a caution to ensure that proposed products or intervention solutions need to be at ideation phase. What type of validation evidence will be required by Response Innovation Lab to prove that the idea has been tested?
Thank you, Immaculate. Very good question. Indeed, you're aware we're going to be operating in some areas where people are living under quite complicated circumstances, and we need to be very sure we're not creating additional harm to them. So, and we operate very ethically. So we will be not considering things that are at ideation stage and haven't been tested in the past, because we don't want to create risks for the population we work with. So we will be in the full proposal application, we will be asking applicants to demonstrate through narrative feedback how it is that they've already been testing their innovation, and we will also give them an option to attach that evidence. So the evidence can vary depending on what your innovation is about. It could be a clinical study, if it's a product, or an approval by the Uganda Safety Bureau, or it could be a project report on how you've been using this new technology in other areas before. We are quite open. It will vary a lot depending on the innovation. And before we close, if you allow me, I just want to do a small poll session, a small poll with you. So you tell us about the session and how useful it was for you. so that we can think about how to do this better in the future. And this is anonymous. Please don't hesitate to tell us what you really think here. Thank you so much. Thank you for taking the poll. We will close the meeting now, and we thank you for participating. Have a good day, everyone.
Good day. Thank you for attending this call. Looking forward to interacting more. Please reach us at our email and visit our website for more details.